Musing While Boozing.
Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I know.
Hi everybody, Carl from Musing While Boozing. This is the first of 2 lost episodes that are being brought to light. That's right, after 26 episodes in a row, we ran into a bit of a break, but these 2 episodes were pre-recorded and it's about time they get released. After they're out there, this podcast will be pivoting and we'll be bringing a whole new format and a whole new design, which we hope you enjoy. But in the meantime, the first lost episode we want to talk about is called The Subconscious War. Mike and I got together and watched a documentary by the same name, which is the conspiracy documentary done in 2011. It details the impact of media and culture and the violence in everyday life and the development of common principles in society. Puts a bit of a spin on how much control people think media have. If you haven't had a chance, I recommend you take a quick watch. It's not that terribly long, about 29 minutes. And let us know what you think. But in the meantime, after a very long wait, we are proud to be back on the air and hope you enjoy this lost episode of Musing While Boozing.
Musing While Boozing, because the best thinking happens while drinking. Hot topics over cold drinks.
Cheers. Yes. Good to be back.
Yes, good to be back.
Yeah, so, brand new episode. How you been?
I've been awesome.
You've been awesome.
Back from Mexico, you know.
What was Mexico like?
My area was safe. I know there's been a lot of issues on the Atlantic side, but the Pacific side so far seems to be isolated.
We had friends, shout out to Crystal and Travis, whose socials in a couple of weeks, not them. It was Nicole and Curtis, who canceled a trip to Jamaica because of the one incident that hit the news, and they rescheduled their trip for safety reasons to Mexico.
I'm not quite sure which one's safer.
Well, I think Mexico's a cesspool. I think everybody's getting killed there.
Yeah, I don't know if Jamaica's any better for,
I don't know. I didn't think it was... Maybe I'm naive. I didn't think it was that bad. I really wasn't on top of things, but...
I wouldn't cancel my trip either way. I'm going.
I'd go to Croatia. I'd go anywhere. Yeah, if I bought tickets, I'm going.
Yeah.
We're going to Vegas this fall, and I don't know, people, whatever happens. It's gonna be
That's the way I roll. That's the way I roll.
So in today's episode here, Mike and I just thought we'd get re-educated, and before we just watched an episode of a documentary called The Subconscious War. Allegedly directed, produced, and brought together by a gentleman by the name of Alexander Martinez. So, unlike the first couple of documentaries we watched, which were
so far not impressive.
Yeah, the ones on food and what have you, from earlier on and in season 1 here. This one was actually very highly rated. If you're looking for it, if you Google Subconscious War, it will come up and is totally viewable on YouTube. So we just ripped it through the Cody box, actually just grabbed it off of YouTube and we threw it up there. It's a quick watch, 28 minutes, 26 minutes, something like that. Currently sitting with a rating of 8.86 stars out of 10.
Wow.
So I was curious, and I went in, and so I guess before we go too far, we should talk about what was it. What was
the purpose? Yes.
So what's your if I were to tell people that you watch this documentary, which is essentially what we're doing right now.
Yes.
What was it about?
I believe it was about technology has unfortunately influenced us in a negative way. We have not reaped the benefits that we were told we would reap. And if you look at a lot of the references, they're all from the early days, right? Like, I think 85 was the earliest.
38? That guy that wrote before Orwell there.
Yeah. But 85 was the latest reference. So these are...
No, that one guy, the subconscious guy, 93.
Okay, so,
yeah.
but 93, right? Like a
Still 20 years ago.
long time ago.
That was that Postman guy.
Yeah. I believe what they say. I believe technology has, unfortunately, we haven't reaped the benefits of it yet.
Well, it was an interesting take. It was, again, I love the fact that someone made a documentary about how technology, how it's so bad, and you have to watch it on technology.
Yes.
It was an interesting mix of. It's hard to describe the flow of information on this. It was like they were trying to tap into your subconscious and kept flashing imagery at you.
Well, they're basically saying that violence has.
I think correctly, it was distracting. I think was the point.
Yeah, I think they were saying violence was. And they've always talked about, video games and violence and all that stuff. But,
yeah, I didn't feel like that was their take this time. I thought that it was, that violence, media, the movies and stuff was there as part of, like, when he was wrapping up talking about the, this must sound very rambling to people. Just watch the goddamn documentary and then come back and listen to our analysis.
For a 30-minute documentary, it was a little... I thought it was pretty deep.
Yeah. They talk about how... I like the analogy where they said George Orwell in 1984 was worried about how information would be taken away, and how they've turned everybody into slaves, mindless slaves now, just by giving people too much information. Like, that's been one of my biggest...
What was that, Huxley?
Yeah, Huxley. Talking about too much information. I
believe that.
I think we've alluded to that, actually, on the podcast a couple of times, was that, one of the things the internet is dangerous for is just the ability to get any point of view you want out there. You can find someone out there that will validate whatever you want to believe, whether what you believe is true or not.
Yeah, fake news.
Yeah, fake news. Alternative facts.
Yes, alternative facts. Look at it. It doesn't even sound that bad. Alternative facts.
Alternative facts. What the? How can someone in the presidential office use the term, well, we're not lying.
As someone had told us before, it's pseudoscience.
Alternative facts. So the subconscious war, it went into the take on that society can be placated and people will, what they say, talk about their servitude. They will basically become drones, due to the fact that if you give somebody too much information, then there's inability to make a decision. You don't like something, you can just turn the channel, turn the page, click the link, and stuff just comes in out of your consciousness so quickly that you really don't give a shit about anything.
No. I like the fact that they mention capitalism and how just a reminder from the early days that capitalism was supposed to distribute power and not allow small groups to control that, because that's the big scare, right? And yet that's exactly what's happened nowadays.
Yeah, what was that guy's name? You're talking about the author of that. There was a book that came out before George Orwell. It's called Brave New World, which I actually am going to go try and track down. Sound interesting, but what he was talking about was that there is no Big Brother.
No.
What it is just that you can get just groups of people, or in this case, they alluded to through the imagery flashing on the screen, companies, Coke, Sony, Viacom,
manipulated, right?
Yeah, that they can. Again, not even drive an end goal or like a conspiracy per se, but just keep people in a constant need of consumerism, consumption, what's next, keep them going. And so it's sort of like the conspiracy without the conspiracy. There is no it's the group ultimate in the back driving an end goal. They just want to maintain a behavior. They don't care where we end up, as long as we don't care what you do as long as you buy our products.
Yeah.
So if we keep you mildly entertained, keep the masses all sort of happy. It reminds me of when I lived in Brazil, where one thing the government would do down there was that people didn't have the basics. But even back then, in 1998, it was the cheapest country in the world to buy a big screen TV.
Huh.
Because the government would subsidize big screen TVs. You know why? If people are at home watching soccer on a big screen TV, you know what they're not doing? Riding in the streets.
They're not thinking.
Yeah,
They're not
thinking.
thinking about ways they can overturn the government. They're not thinking about. They're just watching TV.
Yeah. So it was. You know, I liked. Part of the documentary really. I mean, I was thinking, this makes. Parts of it made some sense. It was one of the first ones we watched where I was just sitting here going, "This is utter ballistic bullshit."
Oh yeah.
But in the end, I'm sure it's still bullshit.
I believe in it. I believe a lot of the concepts that they went over.
Well, it's like, how close is society going to be like the Matrix, so to speak, without actually literally plugging people's brains, right? Like, it's basically, it got me thinking when we were watching it. It's basically like the Matrix, but without the whole robots and aliens.
Yes.
People are plugged into their devices. They're generating, instead of generating heat, they're generating the material exchange of goods. They're driving the engines just like the human bodies were in the Matrix. Trace takes me. I'm going deep here. They're driving.
It's a combination of the internet and your mobile phone.
Yeah,
that is the
mobile phone media.
Not the Big Brother, but you know what Huxley was talking about.
Yeah, Huxley.
That's exactly what he's talking about. Information overload.
Yeah.
I've even experienced it myself. I'm like, I remember back in the day it was pretty easy. It was choice A, B, or C. Now it's choice A to Z.
Yeah, it's squared 15 times.
Why? I don't want those choices.
Yeah.
I don't know whoever said I wanted all those choices. Democracy?
And then you put someone who's desperate there, or has a internal need or insecurity or an agenda or something, and they can reach out into that glut of information and grab something and wave it in the air, and that's how these like anti-vaxxer, flat earther,
unbelievable.
Yes, but you name it, you can find someone else to validate you and make you feel like
real.
Yeah, because I've spent 12 hours researching on the internet, and look at this picture.
I hate to say it, I'm that way too. I don't want to research anymore. I'll assume that this 12-hour research episode was good enough.
This 2-minute synopsis I read or I watched. So it's the overwhelming production of information is turning out to be even scarier than the Nazis burning books. I like what he said. The future isn't people taking your books away.
No.
The future, scary part of the future is you not even wanting to read a book.
You don't want to read a book yet.
Because you got Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and CNN and Fox News and everything just shooting information just so often. I mean, you don't want to go look at anything. You just want to know what it's reading anymore.
I just read a news. It was apparently from Fox News that they've developed a cure for cancer.
Well, there's my Facebook has told me there's been a cure for cancer every year since 1998.
Yeah. I'm like...
I'm not kidding. Last one I saw was about a vaccine in Mexico or something like that. Or
if something like that, it'd be the biggest news in the world. All over the world.
But you know what, though?
But maybe not.
No, for 15 minutes.
Maybe not.
Till Kim Kardashian flashes her tits or something.
Yeah.
Nothing is the biggest news. We live in a world of hyperbole. I'm a big sports guy, obviously, so you see it all the time, too. But everything has always got to be the biggest ever, the best ever, the most epic, the whatever.
Most colorful, yeah.
And so news comes and news goes. And what seems like it's the most important, and I think we're even in stages. I think 10 years ago, we're thinking this is the most important thing ever. And then now I think we're at the stage where something happens, and it's like we even know internally, well, I know next week's going to be something else. Like, it's literally our attention span as a society is like... it can't be measured in milliseconds.
Yeah, it's
like even like the 24-hour news cycle is now actually like the 1-hour news cycle. Like literally, what even less to be popular would last
for a
week.
Ticker tape? CNN was the first to invent that. They had the ticker tape, right?
And now they have the ticker tape with exploding boxes. And now what started out as CNN used to just be an anchor person with the news banner. Then there was one on top, and now they got extra little cameras on the side. And now literally it looks like a heads-up unit from a video game, just blasting information at you with 5 people screaming and yelling at each other. Somebody always has a British accent. One guy is always black.
Yeah. British, yeah, the British accent is a big.
You can find
thing
a black
right
British
now.
accent that you're really in good shape.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, you don't have a second to breathe. And I'm trying to remember when that changed, because I remember like around 9/11, I guess it was probably before Fox News, when CNN literally was just news. You just turned it on and it was news, it was rational, it was whatever.
I mean, it was one-sided, obviously.
They started going...
We knew that.
But they started swinging hard to the left when Fox came in on the right. And then now it's like, even if you want to go to a quote-unquote... It's funny, so funny we're having this conversation, because the other day when I was on my lunch, I'm like, I wanted to quickly check on something, and I was just thinking, I'm clicking, well, why do I go to CNN? Because the app I have on my phone, right? I'm like, is this truly... I used to trust it, and now...
Question.
And even CNN is like... CNN's the liberal side, and Fox News is the Republican, crazy, hardcore right side. So, I identify as more liberal.
I used to read both, because then I would hopefully be able to make a decision in the middle, and now, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I identify as liberal, and even I don't trust what's on CNN anymore. Like, it became more about entertainment than news. I don't know when that happened.
Speaking of, if you looked at National Geographic recently admitted that the past historical...
It's so funny how we read the same thing.
We all knew it, but
we didn't. We grew up, and you thought that was like the...
That was truth.
Prestige, not even prestige, but that was just... Yeah, that was information.
That was like the Britannica Encyclopedia.
Yeah, you used to go there to get your stuff for your projects, right? Like
that was real.
You were cutting articles out of National Geographic. That was street cred for a school project. That was like undeniable truth.
Yes.
And now it turns out when they just talked about how these Bushmen and were just savages and only white people had any brains, apparently that wasn't good.
It wasn't real. Apparently it wasn't real.
And they would have a whole 12-page article about South Africa and just forget to talk about apartheid or riots, and then they would, we found some cool dinosaur bones.
I used to have a lot of those magazines. I wish you didn't throw them out, because I'd love to read some of them now. I have read some of my grandparents had original Britannica encyclopedias, and black people in there are just the world's disdain. It's unbelievable, and yet that was gospel.
Yeah, well, I had the quote from, I used to have the quote from National Geographic was talking about the Australian Aborigines, and I said it was like the dumbest of the human beings or whatever. Like, seriously, put that shit in print. It's just no toiling back from that. So and
yet if you read that today, what would you think? Would it be real? Is it fake news? That's just now where would you talk about where you read it?
I don't even know what's considered. Well, that's just it. Maybe we've hit that point. Like, what is?
I'm information overloaded for sure.
Trustworthy.
For sure.
Like, I'm trying to. Wendy's always laughing at me because I consume as much as possible. Like and I'm not addicted to a device. I'm addicted to information. Like, I'm not.
That's exactly what they said in the documentary.
I'm trying to, up my megahertz and up my megabytes so I can consume and try, because I think what my belief internally is you have to get as much as possible to make your own decision and sort of balance it out, right? But every time I try to find something, I find something that pulls me the other direction.
Salt is a perfect example. For years and years, it's bad for you. High blood pressure.
I thought you meant the movie.
No.
We should watch
it's good for you. Now it's bad for you. Just like sugar.
No, sugar's always been bad for you.
Sugar's always been bad.
Sugar just tastes good.
Damn, it tastes good. God, do I love sugar.
Sugar is there's no conspiracy. Even the sugar people tell you it's bad for you.
and we all think it's still good for us.
No, we just know it tastes good.
You got the good chocolate now. They've invented a new chocolate, strawberry chocolate. It's good for you.
It's really? I haven't heard that.
Okay, just wait till it comes to the market.
You're not talking about strawberry milkshakes, are you?
No. It's a cacao.
Okay.
But it's a particular nut they've developed. Yeah. Just wait, it's coming. They just developed it. Well, see it in 5 years.
I'm all over it.
If we don't run out of water by then.
Yeah, California's so screwed when it comes to water.
So are we.
Oh no, we have lots of fire.
No. They, you know what? If you've looked at the last few years, we have a big dump, but it's melting so quick. By the end of the summer, we're drought. Alberta has experienced. There's been a few times the not the Bow River, because that's been overflowed. There's been a few rivers that have dried up.
The change in in general the world is don't get me wrong, I'm not crazy like some I understand, especially where there's big population centers. There's what was that? Aren't we hitting that drop dead date for? I think we touched on this a couple episodes ago. South Africa, where their first major metropolis area is going to be completely out of water. Their reservoir
was it?
Cape Town?
Yeah.
Feel like Cape Town was. Our listeners out there could tweet at us and let us know, but Cape Town, South Africa, I believe. I wish we had one of those. On a lot of podcasts, have a guy working the computer and as you're talking, and they just keep pulling stuff up. Because
I can't do it fast enough. So here's my biggest thing. Technology, it's there, it's at your fingertips, but it still can't do what I asked Google to that kind of question, and I'm sorry, we can't help you with that. I don't understand your request. Why the hell are we not at a point where I can ask that thing a question in normal human, a real question? Pull up the information, do a search on because there's too much.
I'm just caught up here. It's talking about how the Cape Town
or they're scared to let the AI run wild. One of the two.
Crisis would cause the city's borrowing to rise sharply and the economy would shrink. It's going to cut agriculture by 20% in 2018. It's not looking good. It's racing for day zero. They moved they've had a little bit of rain. Day zero's now been pushed back to August when the taps been running dry. It was April, so they must have gotten some. But I mean, you're talking months here.
Yes.
That's not a good sign. Yeah. So just circling a little bit back to the subconscious war, it was rated really high, but then I was wondering, okay, ratings again. You start to who's
rating? Yes.
So I flipped down to the comments. Everybody's raving about a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. And
who are these people?
These people are the ones that write comments like, "You can't believe the government. Don't be sheeple. Stay informed. Hashtag truth is out there. Hashtag fuck the government. Hashtag this." And it's like, it was point after point going, yes, this. There was people relating it to, blah, blah, blah. Snowden's the man. Then you talked about WikiLeaks and another comment.
WikiLeaks was
it
over
was
there,
literally the comments on topdocumentary.com or whatever it is, the rating site, were more than entertaining than the actual documentaries. I'm flipping through it, just looking at, and people, like, these people don't leave comments like 3 lines. They write like, a
novel,
manifesto.
I liked WikiLeaks, like I was saying before, when they first began, but as usual, it's been manipulated into a system of...
To me, it's just too much information. It's just, there's 12 billion documents. That's great. What do I just click click on one. It's like a random piece of work. Well, that's exciting. It was like when I looked at the documents from that big banking leak from the Canary Islands or whatever, when they had all that, the money that had been filtered through hidden, oh god, this sounds like an idiot, but the hidden banking systems down the Panama Papers. That's what
the Panama, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
and I actually went to the website and started digging around, and it's like, you can view any of these Panama Papers. So I pulled up some random legal document, like, this means nothing.
The best of it is it's all out there, and it doesn't matter anyways. Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
You don't want access to raw data.
Proof doesn't matter.
Yeah, the average human being, unless you're going to devote your time to that project, raw data means nothing.
No.
Yeah, what the hell? Here, 20,000 pages of these, untreaded documents from Panama. It's not like it's a movie script. You're looking, it's like, just ledgers, and I'm like, this means nothing to me. It's smart people have to go through there and tell me what this means. Yeah. And then you're depending on their interpretation.
Their perception.
So, I don't know. So
we were always that way, but it just seemed back in the day, before the internet was what it was. I liked the internet when it first came out. I thought there was a lot of cool things about it. I had a lot of high hopes.
5,000 web pages. It was sort of easy.
20 years later, I'm not impressed at all.
Well, now I'm standing in Home Depot, looking at the fridge with a 24-inch LCD screen on the front of it. That you can plug in.
Oh, that is hilarious.
You click through.
Yeah.
You can it has the Amazon
log in
built
while
in.
you're in the shopper.
Yeah, so you can order your groceries from your fridge. You can track things on there. You can have it all just on autopilot.
Yeah, and all I can think of is, I wonder how long till this fucking thing breaks and my fridge doesn't work. Because it's hooked up to that.
Well, do I got to firewall my fridge now? That's what I want to think.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure you got a firewall. Because guess what? Those people aren't firewalling it because they don't give a shit. Look at the baby cams.
Baby cams. Net
They've been out
cams.
forever.
Booty cam.
Completely wide open.
Yeah. I go to that website that has the random cams in Winnipeg. You can log in and check people, and it's like, this is, again, boring. No.
You know, if it was back in the day, 15 years ago, and I was into the hacking and I would totally be all over that.
That's right.
And now I'm just old and I don't care. But
I don't know.
but back in the day, I had the energy, I had the will, and I had. That's all I needed.
We had, even I think I'm naive to how much attempted hacking is going on out there, because at work we had Daryl, our IT guy, doing a town hall presentation to the entire corporation, and he was showing us charts of the number of, I wouldn't call them attacks. I think these bosses do feelers, right? The people that were just, doing just touches on our firewall. And the hundreds of thousands of attempts we get,
And we're Manitoba companies,
and
same with our company.
Yeah,
hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, and then it's got me thinking about like I think my personal computer is running so slow. I bet you there's just Russian agents using the processing power all the time. My home computer, because the only firewall I have is just actually, no, my Wi-Fi is firewalled. My computer is just plugged right in there, and it's got some shit ass McAfee or something running in the background, but that's
for really, the average person.
Yeah, so in the time I was like, well, what do they do? And I'm realizing people are probably trying to get on my computer, and again, I don't really care.
No.
I mean, they can have my movies; they're illegal anyways.
Don't worry, soon it'll be uploading those to the Google Cloud.
Everything. Oh, Dropbox is going to have their IPO. They're going to go public. Apparently, they're been valued at probably $7 billion. The next big IPO company apparently had a value of $10 billion a couple of years ago.
Right up there with Bitcoin and a variety of Bitcoin
Ethereum
ventures out there. Yes.
Did you? Fuck.
No, I didn't invest. I fucked up.
No. No. Okay, put a pin in that for a second. There was a CTV article yesterday about a guy here in Winnipeg who heats his business. It was a business.
Yeah.
By his mining rig.
Yeah.
I was like, so his rig costs him $3,500, and I don't know what other accoutrements you would have to do. See, it's always cold.
Here's the thing. So say a business takes off of this, because right now I don't see any future for it, but say a business such as gambling takes off with Bitcoin, where they can ensure that there is no cheating and there is no all of a sudden, if that business really invests, this is going to skyrocket. But yet I myself, and I think the gut feel from majority of society, it's not going anywhere.
No, you know what's more exciting, I think, is not Bitcoin, it's the blockchain technology.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but the blockchain is just the technology behind Bitcoin. And what does it make something digital unique? So what's happening now, an area where it's being used.
Well, it's unique, and it's across multiple computers that you can't. It's very difficult to.
So, and I was trying to wrap my head around this. Was the fact that digital art, so just like a picture, fucking screen, you can copy it a quadrillion times.
Yeah.
But what they're doing is they're tying. So a digital artist is coming up with a piece of art and then tying it to blockchain, so that you can verify through blockchain if you own the picture.
Yeah.
So say I drew a picture of Pepe the Frog, and then long story boring, they just sold a digital picture online. Somebody bought one for $1.2 million. Now, you can copy that file. It's not that it's uncopyable. It's that when you make the copy, it's not going to show as that it's not the original. So even though you can have this picture on your phone, you have a copy, but I have the original. And there's a way to verify that now. So it's like the democratization of art, where now suddenly it's going to be able to copyright certain things. Again, just to copyright, you can't make it. It's not uncopyable. Well, it's just proof that you don't have the original of something. And
that's the first step of
what? I'm trying to figure out what that is. Like I don't know where this leads, but it was like, back in the day when there was a painting, it was an oil painting, and there was some people that could copy, but you could always sort of really tell whatever. But you had the original oil painting, and they started making. When they had photography, they started making prints, and like, oh, that's going to destroy the art community and what have you. In photography, now here's the same thing, where now they went digital, which now anybody can copy anything. But now they're finding it's going full circle. Now they're finding a way to put an identity to a digital imprint. Now, I don't think I quite have the mind power to figure out where this is going to go, but I do feel like it's the start of something. But anyways, yes, and this is to do with the blockchain technology, which has nothing to do with Bitcoin, so that's what's behind the tracking of the exchanges.
Even there's been a handful of banks that have even invested in technology.
There's a ton of people investing in blockchain technology right now and trying to figure out exactly what we're going to do.
I just don't know if we're going to see something in 10, 20, 100 years.
Oh, I don't know. Not 100 years. Fuck, too long. 100 years. We can't even. I don't think human beings have the ability, except the basic fundamentals, to predict what things are going to be like in 100 years. The way things change so fast. Look how cheesy some of the 100-year predictions were 100 years ago, but at least it was still in the same ballpark. Yeah. Like they said we'd have a box on our heads, or like TV strapped.
Like VR, it's still not a reality. But, like, Jesus.
Yeah, and some things they could never, they said we're going to have flying cars, which not quite, but then again, the tricorders we do have, because those are basically our cell phones. So, there was, at least you're in the ballpark. I think 100 years from now, I think that we'll have things like, I think technology will be embedded some way in some people. I don't know if it'll be like, well, look, they're already chipping people. Oh, what was that horror movie? Where they chipped people?
I think in 100 years they get a lot more problems to deal with.
The Balco Project or whatever.
Yes, the Balco.
Yeah, I don't know where things are going to be in 100 years. I don't think we can.
I hate to say it, humans were just the way the system is. Until we're presented with a significant problem that we have to resolve now, we don't resolve it. Well, that's just the way it is, right?
I think it ties back to what we were talking about earlier.
Like climate change. We're not going to deal with that. Yeah, we put all these measures in. We're not going to deal with it until all of a sudden there's no water.
Well, I don't know if human beings have the ability to, until we fundamentally alter ourselves or extend our lifespans or extend our consciousness spans, if we can somehow take our conscious out of our bodies and put them somewhere else. Because at the end of the day, we don't live long enough to have enough people feel the impact. At the end of the day, it's not my problem. Because I think 70, 80, 90
I
years...
see that, but that's for myself, it's how you look at things, right? I don't want to do things just to improve myself. I want to do things to improve society.
But do you?
But I do.
Do you? Do you recycle everything?
I do.
Do you eat red meat?
I burn it.
Do you eat red meat?
But I mean, ultimately, if I had to make a choice between myself and the better of society, I would rather see the betterment of society. But I don't feel that I am in the majority.
Well, no, you're definitely not. And I don't think you are. I think you're off in a field by yourself.
Yeah, and that's why. Why is everybody so greedy? Why is everybody so?
And I don't think it's greedy, Mike. I think it's just the fact that...
Why is it always about me? Me?
Because it's the only life you live.
I mean, I know it's about me, but...
Yeah, well, it's the only life you live.
You get more... You know what? I hate to say it. I don't even believe in God, but when you start looking at some of the principles of the Bible, holy shit.
Which Bible?
Well, generally they're talking about helping society as
Well, yeah,
it's not
right.
about yourself, right?
You take out all the bullshit about stoning your wife because she wore polyester.
Yeah, all that stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, it'd be
just to look at what it is, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at every system now, you know, back in the day when a company made billions of dollars, they returned some of that to society, to better society, because they didn't
in the 20s when they're using child slave labor and there's only 12 rich people in the world.
Probably, but
No,
I'm not telling you how they got there, but
it never happened. That's what I'm saying. Human beings have never done that. Human beings have always been
just greedy.
Well, because we've always been on the verge of dying. Like, it's only been the last, 30 years that life has been... You weren't going to be dead by the time you were 60, right? Like, you know, it's... I think it's our lack of long-term...
Well, that's about to change, I think, because they've just found the aging gene. Apparently, they've been talking about that for the last 10 years.
So funny.
What's his name? From Poland there. He's got his own island. Nygaard. Peter Nygaard, yeah.
What about him?
Oh, Christ, he's been injecting himself with the...
Is that why he's got those big guns on those
billboards? He bought an island. He's been injecting himself with young blood for 10, 15 years.
Yeah. Where do you have this?
Oh, yeah, you Google that one. I swear to God.
This is some of that
the guy's got the youth serum he's been fucking around with.
Oh, shit. Where was I going with that? You were talking about...
The guy came from nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Poland, I heard nothing. Then he built this business. He was a dick. And then he moved away.
No, I don't... we were... it was sort of a thought experiment I had, and I was engaging Wendy on it the other night, but we're talking about the fact that, you know... At the end of the day, even if you could transfer your consciousness...
Yes, to the internet.
Or anywhere. But, so, does it move it, or does it probably what's going to happen doing is, like, you making a copy of it, right? Like, when I'm talking about physically what happens, so, say you're alive here, and you were able to have, like, a clone of yourself,
or
I don't care what it is. Something, you have something that you're going to put your mind into. Now, what you're going to end up doing is you're actually making a copy. Oh, soon we have a special guest dropping in here. It's Wendy.
Make a copy. Yes.
Don't plug your brain into any computer.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Lawnmower man.
It's a trick.
I have no computers. So, anyways, it was talking about because, she totally got me twisted. Okay, here we go. I don't see how I don't see how any of this would happen, but it at least makes more sense that at the physical point where if you were to fire up the other person, it's not like you're going to go limping down. Probably it's going to be a copy of you with all your thoughts and your dreams and stuff, right? So say, for instance, that happened. That thing, which has all your memories, which is essentially a copy of you, starts its life and goes on. Problem is, you're still here.
Yeah.
So, say you were terminally going to die or what have you.
Yes.
That thing takes off and goes on, but you still go through the whole act of dying. So, in you, Mike A, you're not gonna be able to carry on. It's carrying on for you. It's you, but your point of view, like your conscious, you seeing yourself is still here. Do you see what I mean? Like, you're still going to go through the act of dying.
Of course.
And you're going to know you're dying.
But
and then you're not going to
continue on?
No, there is something else that is just like you that's continuing on, but you're not going to continue on.
Well,
You're going to take that last breath, choke, and die.
What are you saying here?
Well, I'm saying is that...
You're talking about a soul or not?
Well, but so we're talking about, like, for instance, even... How this came up was, it was talking about I was listening to a podcast about this guy talking about consciousness, and he's saying, so he's a futurist, and he's saying, so reality, that will happen. So, for instance, if you're transporting someone, is it making a copy and recreating you, or is it actually somehow moving your actual molecules from point A to point B? Right? Because odds are it's probably recreating you, sort of like, you know, in Star Trek, they have those machines that make your food right out of the other molecules.
Holodeck, yes.
Not the food, but like the people that make the coffee.
Yeah.
The donut pops up. Poof. So if you're transporting, you're just taking a copy, and then poof, and that person doesn't know anything from the half millisecond was created. It's moved on. He even has your memories, but the person's getting beamed. At that portion of you is dying a horrible death, but if you're dead, you wouldn't know, and then you're starting new somewhere else. So even though that person has no memory of dying, the last thought here is this guy dying. So there was that movie called The Prestige that had Hugh Jackman in it, that was a magician, and had Nicholas Tesla in it. And the spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen The Prestige, that came out sometime in the 90s. Sorry, it's going to ruin it for you. But he was a magician, and his gimmick was that Nicholas Tesla made a machine that he could make a clone of himself, and every day on stage in medieval London, he would fall and then appear somewhere else, whatever. Yeah. And how did he transfer it next to me? Meanwhile, what was really happening was he would start that trick knowing that when I pull this handle here, I die, and he fell into a pit of acid or something like that. Or that's what it was. It was barrels of water that it drowned and sealed, and he would drown and die. And he had this assistant whose job was to take that barrel away. Meanwhile, the new him that had all his memories, except dying, but everything up to this instant, would appear at the box, and ta-da! And he knew that he was a magician, and that's what's happening. So he did his magic trick every day, knowing that when I pull this string, I'm going to die, but my legend carries on. But that doesn't matter to him because he dies.
I mean, one day that might happen, but that sounds like thousands of years away.
Well, I don't know. It's the transfer of consciousness.
But you're talking about complete understanding of the brain.
Well, yeah, and that's what they're because all these people that sell you on cryogenics and freezing there was that one big sperm bank in the U.S. that just had a big freezer meltdown. All the eggs thawed out, and now they don't know. The only way they refroze them. The only way you can tell if they're still viable is if you completely thaw them out. But if you do that, then they're for sure not viable. Yeah. And so they're not going to refund all these money. The company just have to go bankrupt in 5 minutes and be done with it. But sort of screwed. But my point being was that if technology gets to that point and we can transfer our consciousness and extend our lifespans, then I think that's when or if we do it biologically and through enhancements and nanobots and putting stuff in your blood to get rid of all your impurities and somehow be able to drag this physical existence out for maybe to 200 years or something like that, so we live longer, that's when I think you start seeing that holistic nature of people looking things long term. And until then, though, if you keep this to dial down to 80, 85, 90 years, it's just you can't affect anything. It's sort of like why presidents in the U.S. get nothing accomplished because they can only be there for 8 years. Yeah. Their only role is to just keep themselves in power for 8 years and they're gone. At that point, literally, the country is not their problem. I think that is a macro version of society's ability to tackle long-term problems.
I don't know. I think of your grandparents, my grandparents. They were always it was simpler. But yet they were responsible. They recycled. They were recycling for years. They reused glass bottles.
Yeah, but
why? Because they had to. It was cheaper.
But they something in metal or plastic, they just threw it off the side. You know why? Because the world was an endless supply and burnt coal like there was no tomorrow.
The baby boomers, they may have, yes. But I think ultimately they, if they could.
You have rose-colored glasses. These people ate poorly. Kids died. Lots of diseases. Life was hard. Dirt floors. Eating blood pudding. Wasn't a good time to be alive. Worked 16 hours a day, always one bad rain away from losing everything.
From life,
I don't know.
Well, that's maybe that's the way it needs to be. Simple. You live, you're just worried about living. You're just worried about living the next day.
But why is that any better than we are now?
Well, they weren't doing individually.
They weren't.
Individually, it's not good. But
and those are the days that were the worst ever for global warming and stuff.
No.
Yeah, because that's when we were burning coal everywhere.
Coal does nothing. It was a CFCs, man.
It's belching coal into the atmosphere.
We're still belching coal. Like, what difference does it make?
I think humans are so screwed up that as bad as it is, it's still the best time ever to be alive.
Well, yeah, because you're living longest, right?
And we got Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
But no, like longest, you do have the ability. Look at how, if you went back 300 years. So you and I are sitting here writing out our scroll of our podcast in the year 17.
Using a quill from a bird.
That's right.
Some ink that we don't know if it's poisonous or not.
The year is 1716, and Micah and Carlos are sitting around here in the suburban. Well, it could be. Got that one left. There's some keys upstairs too, and we're sitting there. No, that's not going to. Sitting here, running our podcast, so to speak, and at that time, think of your employment options.
Factory, Ford's factory.
No, it's 1700s, man. This is we're talking like back in the day. The point being is that there was maybe, I'm going to make up a number here, but there was like 60 things you could do with your life, right? Maybe. I don't know. And that's including if you happen to be nobility or if you happen to be a peasant.
Yes.
As a peasant, your role was peasant, which was
the other issues back then too,
Yeah. Okay, 60 things. Now, human beings, though, we have this we always think of people back in the days being stupid, and it's been proven at time. You look at what people.
I think they were smarter.
Well, I don't know, but they were at least. Actually, apparently, every generation has 2 IQ points, so maybe they weren't smarter, but they were not morons. That being said, if you were born into the right state or whatever, there was the potential to be smart. I mean, I think there was some peasants that weren't all that bright, but my point being,
just like today,
people had the same ability to have interests as we do now. Now they wouldn't have known about things, but your brain worked the same. So if somebody saw something, like now you want to be a computer programmer, back then there were painters, there were poets, there were a few things like that. So it's more than I'm thinking. But again, in today's world, especially due to you could be interested and almost make a living in anything. And back in the day,
YouTube videoing, coloring hair, doing nails,
anything,
which has always been there.
Yeah. But you go back, it's been there for a while. But you go back farther and farther and farther. Eventually, there was just nothing except throwing rocks at bears. The point being is that that's why I'm saying so anybody who wants to do anything, now is the time you want to be alive, because you can find some way to support your family or yourself or whatever just by doing anything. Last night, you talk about YouTubers. Last night, the record was broken. Approximately 1 a.m. Drake, the rapper from Degrassi Junior High, and some guy, I want to say his name was NyQuil, but it's not NyQuil. That's a drug. Anyways, the world's most popular, not YouTuber. What's it called when they Twitch streaming video games.
Fuck yeah.
And then a couple other random rapper dudes who are lesser known. They almost broke Twitter last night because I guess Drake was playing Fortnite with this Twitch streamer, and at one point there was almost 600,000 people watching them play this game all live at the same time last night on Twitch. And they talked about this guy that Drake the rapper was playing with. He makes, through his Twitch stream, every month, based on subscriptions that people are forced to watch ads to watch him play his games, $580,000 US a month. That's $6 million a year. And
you know what you're just proving to me is that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because no normal person is going to make that.
Yeah, but remember, hold on. this was a normal person who, through the million ways that you can make money, did make that because he wasn't rich.
He had the access to make that happen.
No.
You got to spend money to make money.
No, he has an Xbox. We have the ability on the Xbox One here to start a Twitch. We could get. Problem is,
when I start making $500,000 from the podcast,
our grand total.
yes,
be $500,000.
Because I surely would love to talk all the time and get paid.
But yeah, he makes almost $600,000 a month.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's just, to me, those things are not the average person does not get that. I still don't believe the average person has that advantage. I don't believe it.
Well, I don't know who is
there
this?
are some people that YouTube specialists.
Who is this average person?
Who is this average person?
Yeah.
It's me and you.
Huh?
And everyone else. The immigrants,
immigrants randomly.
The immigrants who
Musing While
come over.
Boozing is not racist. But the immigrants. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there is an average. I think if you take everybody and divide it up, it comes up with an average number. But who is this person? Who is this average person? Who's got their own problems, their own issues, their own potential?
We've all got average issues, yeah.
I don't know. I think...
I'll tell you this. There's two classes.
What's that class?
Rich, poor. There's no medium. There's no middle. Rich, poor.
So where's that dividing line then? Because I think...
That is arguable.
Well, yeah, I think there's a big gray area in there, which is the medium. Because, I mean, we can't consider, like, who's... Like,
I'm not poor.
Yeah, so where is poor? Poor is like...
There's a lot poorer.
I was at my office at 8:35, Portage Avenue today. Let me tell you, that's poor. Yeah.
I think somebody making $40,000 as a family income, $40,000, that's pour.
That's how many kids you got. I remember
variety. And there's
just going to university thinking if I could ever make $45,000 a year, I thought I was going to be set up to win. What happened?
You know what? The average person makes $1 million in their lifetime.
Who's this average person?
No, lifetime. That a $60,000 a year salary makes about $1 million in their lifetime.
That math doesn't make sense.
What do you mean it doesn't make sense? You got how many years of working? You got 20,
40 years.
20. You got
60.
You got what? 40, 50 years of working?
Yeah, so 50 years of working times $60,000 a year is $3 million. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that's your total. That's not your take home. That's not your take home. Your take home is half that, and then
and then that's not taking all your fun money.
But I mean, like you're definitely in Canada.
I like how you threw 60,000, which is actually way above the average income in Canada.
It is. I don't know. Do you know the average income in Canada is like 45?
I don't know. I'm gonna check. But again,
Google that.
You know what? The word average is such
it changes.
It is such a useless because extremes on both sides push it down.
Yes,
there is too big of a group of people.
There's too many outliers
that don't make anything. Literally, they pull the people that are making less than $19,000 a year.
Or you got that 0.5% that make an absurd amount, and they were lucky. I'm not going to say they're lucky. They took advantage of. Some were lucky. Some took advantage of real situations, like real entrepreneurs. There are success stories, but they are definitely not the norm. Let's say that.
Yeah, like it says the average.
Just like the internet, I don't think the internet is going to produce people that are earning tons and tons of money as the norm. Unless you're the first, and there's not a lot of firsts left.
I don't know. I guess depends what you're just. Again, tons. It says that the median income in Winnipeg, median family income in Canada is $76,000, higher in the West and East. So the median individual income is $27,600. That's just the median. The richest 10% of the individuals are making more than $80,400, and the very rich.
They don't talk about the average.
Earn more than $190, and the very rich, the 272,006 individuals who make up the top 1%, earn more than $191,000.
Yeah, I don't think there's too many of those.
Yeah, well, there's not. The survey shows the median income in most areas of Winnipeg is between 30 and 40, although some areas
30 and 40,000.
Yeah. per
Wow.
person. Yeah, that's in Winnipeg. Although in some neighborhoods it's as low as $16,000 a year, which lives paycheck to paycheck.
Oh, it's crazy. You're not living paycheck to paycheck. You're not living.
Yeah.
You're in debt. You're going from house to house. Who cares? And at that point, you've just created somebody who there's no reason to care because your life is never going to get better.
Well, it says it'll be my richest between 45 and 54, so apparently I'm going to get big raises next couple of years. It's good to know.
Yeah, that's tough.
Of a full-time worker, because remember, this sets the median income of everybody. Not everybody works full-time. The median income of a full-time worker is $50,699.
That's the biggest problem in this province. I love when they do the job. Oh, our jobless rate is down and it's up. And I'm like, but you eliminated 40,000 full-time and you added, 60,000 part-time. That doesn't count.
No, it doesn't.
It's just there's the part-time work is and yet like my boy, he's all about that, but he doesn't understand that if you stick with something, typically you get paid more.
Yeah.
And none of them understand that.
Well, this whole gig economy thing, you work for like 2 years and I think you're just going to move on to something else.
Yeah, and it's fun in the beginning, but at some point you got to choose.
Well, at some point you got to start, or else you're going to always be making whatever the entry point / minimum wage is. And
unless you're a consultant. Nowadays, consultant, that's the prime.
Yeah, but you don't get to be a consultant until you have some experience or something or proving yourself. So I'm saying these kids, like you were talking about, like Caden and shit, they come in and they just bounce from job to job, and they're everybody, they just like, oh well,
they never gone
up, so I'm getting
past the beginner level, right?
No.
Or they haven't reached that, right?
No, they're just looking for some way to make it as that 1% is going to make it big doing something stupid. And
we all thought that.
Yeah. So, subconscious war.
Yes, subconscious war.
Is it thumbs up or thumbs down?
I actually liked it. Even though the references were really old.
It's funny I say really old. It's like 5 years.
Well, the majority though were like old.
Oh, I'm just thinking like all the media stuff they were showing. Yeah, they had books going back to 1938.
This was the first one I liked because it makes you think.
Yeah, it was. I did. I liked the perspective it gave. So, very cool.
All right.
Well, I think we're done here.
Yeah.
We've wrapped it up. Thanks, folks, for tuning in. Check out Subconscious War. It's on the YouTube. Links will be in the show notes. Check out if you're listening to us. Remember, don't be afraid to check if you need new headphones.
Oh yeah.
Go to studio.com.
Studio.
Promo code boozing, and they I've 2 people now I know that have ordered these things up and very happy. So check them out as well. Thanks out to the studio. Thanks out.
Whoa! Before you go, what did you think of the beer? The beer we tried today was this was called the Red Dragon Ale.
Red Dragon Ale.
5.1%. I actually was not impressed.
No, it has the
aftertaste is sour.
Yeah, I almost used one of the words. Was the jug clean? It's got a
yes, it was.
It's got a scummy, it's got a filmy taste on my tongue. I'm always scraping my tongue against my teeth after I drank it. I'm like just trying to. I got to scrape. I don't mind the taste going down. It's the instant you swallow that I'm not a big fan of.
I and I tried. I had their other one there. It was a very hoppy one, supposedly, and it was so sour. I actually thought it was rank.
Ugh.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Maybe they got a bad batch.
And I know sour beer, and I was like,
sour mash.
Yeah, that's I ain't drinking that shit.
Talk about the Trappist monks that just sued people because the number 2 rated beer in the world. They sell this beer for $3 a bottle, and it's just apparently incredible, and people are buying it and selling it for like $40 a bottle. So the monks are saying you can't do that.
Yeah.
But anyways,
all right.
We're coming to the end of season 1. As it stands right now, I think we have 2 episodes potentially left, and then we'll be taking a break, but don't worry, folks. At the end of season 1, what I'll be doing is I'll be reposting our top 15. We have top 15 episodes in reverse order, starting at 15.
Oh, yeah.
We'll go in reverse rank, and I will repost the 15 episodes, so you will be able to catch up, for those of you that joined us late, on any of our previous episodes, and we'll do a little recap there. And in the meantime, though, we will loading up. We have some more guests lined up, get the show ready, and then we will announce through the Twitter, the Instagram, and the Facebook, so when season 2 will officially kick off. But in the meantime, folks, you know what to do.
Yeah.
Keep musing while losing.
This has been an MK Cast production.
Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I know. I'm thinking if I take another drink of whiskey, I'm gonna wake up on the floor. Here's what I'm thinking. And here's what I know. I'm thinking it's a damn good day when you're drunk by noon and passed out by 4. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I know. I'm thinking if I take another shot of Jaeger, my old lady's gonna walk right out there. Here's what I'm drinking. Oh, here's what I smoke. I got a bottle, Jim Beam, 10 beers, cigarettes, and a down bag of down. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I know. I'm thinking there's nothing like a bar full of booze, broads, beer, and a thick cloud of smoke. Oh, here's what I'm thinking. And here's what I know. I'm thinking this chick next to me chugging beers at the bar's gonna put on a show. Yeah. Well, here's to the troops that are only 18. They can die for the country, but they can't buy a drink. And here's to the soldiers that are overseas. For the rest of your life, you should be drinking for free. Oh, well, here's to the chicks that won't make you beg. They'll do you all night, but won't sleep in your bed. Yeah, here's to the hangover I got right now. Gonna drink it away with some selling and crown. Ah, here's to the blue-collar working man. Raise your finger in the air if you don't give a damn. Yeah, here's to the strippers getting college degrees. Gonna donate $1, education for free.